Assalamualaikum and have a good day. Alright, so in this video, we will discuss about radical or set. Okay, right, so look at these notes. The most commonly occurring radicals are square root. So the symbol of radical is this one. So means the positive square root of. So thus x equal to a square root of a. So means x squared equals to a and x must be always greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Right, so since a equal to x squared greater than or equal to 0, so the symbol for set makes sense only when a is always greater than or equal to 0. So here are two rules for working with square roots. Okay, so for square root, we have two roots. The first one is a multiplication and the second one, it is about fraction. Okay, so before we go further, I would like to tell you what is a radical. Okay, so radical is a punca kuasa 2. And the number of radical, it must be always positive. Okay, right, so look at what happen if A is a negative number. Okay, so kita ambil satu contoh. Katakan we have a square root negative A. Okay, so square root negative A, it is also equivalent with square root of A times negative 1. Okay, so A times negative 1, it is equivalent with negative A. So dalam square root ataupun dalam radical, untuk yang ini, which is negative A, kita boleh fakturkan dan dia akan menjadi A times negative 1. Okay, so based on the root number 1, which is square root AB, it is equivalent square root of A times square root of B. For this case, it is equivalent with square root of A times square root of negative 1. Okay, so the problem here is about square root negative 1. This one. Okay, so as you know, square root negative 1 is an imaginary number or complex number. Okay, so it is known as I. Okay, so that for square root negative A, it is also equivalent with square root AI. So ini dia akan jadi complex number. Complex number. Jadi untuk case ini, kita tak concern pun number ataupun punca kuasa yang melibatkan negatif. Okay, so that in this note, it is always says that the number of square root must be always greater than 0. Maknanya dekat sini, nilai bagi A itu adalah sentiasa lebih besar atau sama juga dengan kosong. Maksudnya dia adalah nilai-nilai positif. Alright. Okay, so back to this rule. So here we have two rules. The first rule, it is about multiplication, which is we multiply between A and B. And the other one here is a division of fraction between A and B. Okay, so based on these rules, for square root AB, it can be separate. So maknanya kita boleh asingkan. Bagi square root AB, it is also equivalent with square root A times square root of B. And then you can solve. For second rule, we have a fraction of this radical, which is square root of A over B. It is equivalent with square root of A over square root of B. So ini sama juga macam rule yang pertama, di mana kita boleh pecahkan kedua-dua number, iaitu square root A and B. Dan dia akan jadi begini, which is square root A over B. It is equivalent with square root A over square root of B. Okay, so this one is a two rules that we have to know. Okay, so however, there is no similar rule for the square root of sum. So untuk sum, summation or subtraction, it does not similar with the previous rule. So maknanya yang melibatkan tambah dan tolak, kita tak boleh nak simply asingkan begitu saja. Okay, okay, so based on this, it says that square root A plus B, this one, it does not equivalent with square root of A plus square root of B. Okay, so for this case, we can do experiment where we take A as a 9 and B as a 16. Okay, so kita boleh buat satu eksperimen di mana nilai A adalah 9 dan nilai B adalah 16. Okay, so first, we do in the left hand side, the square root A plus B. So since A is 9 and B is 16, so here we can say that A plus B, it is about 9 plus 16. Okay, so it is also equivalent with square root of 25. Okay, so square root of 25, it is 5. Kalau you plug in your calculator, you calculate using your calculator square root. Okay, so you press symbol set or radical square root, and then you press the number of 25, and then you press equal sign, then we will have 5. Okay, so this one is in the left hand side, which is square root A plus B. Okay, and number 2 in the right hand side, we form it into square root A plus square root B. Okay, so square root A, square root of A is 9 plus square root 16, which is B is 16. Okay, so this one we solve one by one. The first one here is a square root of 9. So square root 9 here is 3, and then plus square root 16. So square root 16 is 4. So the total up here is 7. Okay, right. So based on this experiment, it is shown that in the left hand side and in the right hand side are does not equivalent. So that we can say that square root A plus B does not equivalent with square root of A plus square root of B. Okay.